So you've probably already heard me talk about how I found out two of my old friends from high school became pedos, and also how this one popular kid from high school, who I used to look up to, ended up cheating on his pregnant girlfriend with gay men. And well, today I'm here to talk about one last friend from high school who basically did a 2-for-1 here. This man, or well, lack thereof man, cheated on his girlfriend with a girl he was grooming. Yeah. Also off topic, I'm in a dire need of diamonds, so I'm gonna go look around this mineshaft I found, so stick around to the end to see how many diamonds I end up getting. Anyways, this all started back in 7th grade. It was my second year of middle school, and I had some friends, but barely had any classes with them, so I was still basically a loner in every single class I had. And I'm not quite sure when this happened exactly, but at some point, my science teacher told the class to partner up because we were gonna do some group project, and this was like Hobo Johnson to my ears, man. I was so devastated because I saw everyone around me immediately turn their heads and make eye contact with their friends they've known since kindergarten, and I'm over here looking like, I don't know, I was like looking at my backpack for no reason. I was just pretending to look busy, you know, like looking for something, and I accidentally missed the part where the teacher said a partner up. But eventually the teacher asked me if I had a partner, to which I said no, and she paired me up with this other loner kid we'll call Stubby. I'm 90% sure that was his nickname. I didn't come up with it. Also, if I come off as condescending or rude or mean, I want you to know that it's no coincidence. This Stubby character may have been my best friend, one of my best friends for, I don't know, 5-6 years, but I hate this man so much. It's not even like envy or jealousy. No, this type of hate is well-deserved type of hate. And this guy is probably one of the worst human beings, if not the worst human being I have personally met. But I'll get to that. Anyways, Stubby and I got partnered up for some science project, and I already forgot what it was. But, you know, I thought it was going to be one of those usual group projects where, like, I work with someone I don't know, and I end up adding on Instagram, and we text a little bit here and there about the project. But then after the project is done, I like eventually find out they unfollowed me the moment we submitted the project, so I end up doing the same and unfollow them, and we never speak again. You know, typical school project stuff. But surprisingly, that didn't happen. Instead, me and Stubby bonded over the most random thing ever. We both watched this same YouTuber, and if I remember correctly, his name was Cowbelly. He posted like Club Penguin videos or something like that. I don't really remember, but like I was shocked. I didn't know anybody else who watched that YouTuber. Yeah, well, we added each other not only on Instagram but also El Cinco. Actually, El Cinco wasn't even out. We added each other on El Cuatro, and man, I still remember the glory days. Me, Stubby, Geo, and one other friend, we would all rotate like GTA 5, Red Dead 2, Minecraft, Brawlhalla, Battlefront, Siege, Rocket League. Good times, man. Stubby and I kept in contact long after 7th grade, and I guess our friendship really peaked during the pandemic when we were all playing those games I just listed. And you know, I thought that he would be my friend forever, you know, because I mean, it was all smooth sailing up until senior year of high school. I don't know if it was a case of short man syndrome or maybe stubby man syndrome. I don't know. This lack thereof man was the definition of a crybaby. Oh my god, he threw temper tantrums as if his life depended on it. He was like Pennywise, if instead of surviving off of people's fear, he would survive off their misery. And I mean, he was like the complete opposite of Z. If you've seen that video, he was just like, he was always mad. He was, you know, I cannot do justice how annoying this guy was looking back at it. And you know, probably asking yourself, why did I stay friends with it? I don't know. I ask myself that question to this day. And well, I will say this. One of like the funniest, best, like most enjoyable moments of my life were because we as a group did something that, like, I don't know. We would like play GTA all the time, and we would go on the beach, and we would, like, you know, troll other people, like the four of us, one on like a jet, other people like as snipers, and then like some random dude in a tank. I don't know. I the highs were very high and the lows were, good lord, they were extremely low. However, Stubby was not a good person, and you could just tell by looking at how he treated women. He would refer to his girlfriend as my bitch. Yeah. And not just that, there are text messages of him arguing with his girlfriend where he said, you know, stop lying, you stupid bitch. And she would just like take like crazy stuff. This guy had no respect for his girlfriend. And it was so sad to see, because like I really don't know how anyone can look at him and see his character and say, you know, I really want to be in a relationship with this person. I don't know. Anytime his sister came into his room, he would be like, oh my God, my sister, I hate my sister so much. One of these days I'm gonna, you know, do some horrible stuff to her. And the same thing with his mom. Like he would call his mom a bitch too. Like he was like, I hate that stupid bitch. And like, oh my God, this guy he had no respect at all. Just me even saying that type of stuff, just like, anyways, he had a horrible temper. He was angry all the time, and you know, my head is just hurting thinking of all the horrible things he would say and do. But although you could probably make a good argument that it should be, being insufferable is not illegal. However, what is illegal, at least I feel like maybe was illegal, is what this man did next. And for some context, during senior year of high school, me, Stubby, another friend, and some kid from high school who was also our friend, who had a couple videos crack 1 million views on TikTok, the 4 of us hopped on to some Roblox. Life is Roblox. And I think it was some sort of Titanic simulator roleplay thingy. I don't quite remember it, but I'm pretty sure it was Titanic something. We came across 2 random girls that we'll call A and B. They were best friends, and as me and my friend were like goofing off somewhere, Stubby and this guy from TikTok were, you know, talking to A and B, and eventually after hours of playing, we ended up making a Discord server where we could all talk, and I remember like revealing our faces like one by one. It was like stupid, I don't know. And you know, one random day we were all chatting on Discord, and we actually found out that they were younger than us. And I'm not quite sure, this is the part where I'm kind of blurry on. I don't really remember if they were 2 years younger than us, so that like, you know, after we graduate, they would still need 2 years to like graduate. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like just 2 years, 2 grades below us. Definitely not 3. But I do think that there was a possibility where it was just like a 1 year difference. I'm not quite sure. My friends and I were like early to mid 17s, and Stubby was basically 18. Definitely 18 when, well, I'll get to that. A and B followed me on, they followed all of us on Instagram, but A specifically had DM'd me on Instagram, and we ended up exchanging numbers to FaceTime. And let me get this out the way. 1, I had a girlfriend at the time, so I wasn't really looking for anything. And 2, even if I didn't have a girlfriend, I still knew back then that I didn't like people younger than me. But if you want my stance on people younger than me, I don't know why I worded it like that, watch this video. TLDW, I really don't know how people can find younger people attractive. Like, I could rant about that for years, but like, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Actually, well, I'm not gonna say I like them old. I just like, just stick to your own age. It's really not that hard. My God, I'm getting worked up for no reason. Anyways, A and B, they would have FaceTimed me to play Roblox because they didn't like playing with Stubby, because I mean, who really liked playing video? At some point, he just had a horrible temper that it was just annoying to play video games with him. Anyways, we ended up playing like some horror games, and I don't know, I forget, but eventually they got to yapping about Stubby. And I didn't know that this was going on until they told me, but apparently Stubby had messaged them on Instagram a lot of times. Most of these times, Stubby was rather, well, how do I put this? He was sexual, I guess. Nothing, I guess, crazy you'd find in like To Catch a Predator, but he was saying pretty nasty stuff. Mind you, he was 18 years old, and you know, these kids, A and B, were around late to early 16s, if I'm being generous. I never really knew their age, but I personally find relationships with that type of age gap reprehensible. I'm not referring to like 2 years. I mean like 18 and on the border of 16. I don't know. Like I said, I could go onto the morality of that for a long time, but you know, there are some states where that is legal, but we're in Cali, where legally legally speaking, that is a no-no. And, well, brace yourself. The most infamous thing Stubby said was asking A what color she was. A was confused and said, "What do you mean?" To which Stubby clears up and says, "Not your skin color, different type of skin." Still confused, A said, "Huh?" To which Stubby says, "Oh my lord, what color is your thing?" A says, "Ew, what is wrong with you?" And he then shares the color of his skin. No pictures, just like a text message. But earlier in this conversation, he dropped this banger of a message that I won't lie, though this is a serious conversation, it made me chuckle when I first saw it because you're a weirdo, man. He asked, "Are you cotton candy pink or wheat brown?" Mind you, this man is 18, probably the oldest person in our high school, maybe a super senior, and he has a girlfriend of 1 to almost 2 years. This guy was the most degenerate person I have ever met. In like, he was disgusting because he genuinely thought that this was like funny. But let me explain why he's roaming around free and not behind bars, because there are some things I did wish I did a little different. When A told me this happened, she didn't come to me with like tears in her eyes and like, bawling, like telling me, "Ray, look what happened to me." Instead, it was like, "Ew, look what Stubby said. Like look what he's been telling me." These conversations between me, A, and B, they were never really serious. I mean, we were playing Roblox and just like talking about how much of a loser Stubby was for saying this type of stuff. And never once did we ever think like this is serious, like serious stuff. I guess we really just like, we all really laughed it off. And well, I don't mean to speak for A and like try to explain how she felt. I'll never really know because, well, I'm not her, What I can say is that from my perspective, she didn't really seem like she was taking him seriously. I mean, if you met Stubby for like 2 seconds, you would never take him seriously. But like, I feel like she treated this as some sick and twisted joke Stubby thought was hilarious, which, if I'm being honest, knowing Stubby for a while, this is his type of humor. Like, he was somebody who loved edgy, dark humor. This was just like really comedic to him, if I'm being honest. And well, hold on, I'm not saying like, open and shut case, it was just a joke, no wrongdoing here, let's move on. No. Stubby is a disgusting piece of shit for even thinking that his comments were okay to say to anyone, let alone a girl 2 years younger than him. And at the time, me, A, and B, but like, again, we never once thought that, this was important. Well, I think we did. And this is the point I'm trying to get at. Again, from my perspective, I felt like the three of us knew that in a way, deep down, this was wrong. But because we were so immature back then, like the way everyone was treating the situation, no one really took that initiative to hold Stubby accountable. And I'm not trying to pass the blame, because as time goes on, I do wonder what would have happened if I, simply stepped up and said like, let's do something about this. At least maybe I would have known for sure that A didn't really feel some type of way from this situation, because I feel like the way it played out, the way she told us what happened, she was like, "Get a load of this loser," and we just all pointed and laughed. I guess what I'm saying is that if someone comes to you and tells you stuff that is, heavy, and they present it as like funny or weird or any way that isn't serious, sometimes people laugh to cope with heavy things. And after both of you guys laugh about it, I would like to invite you to, ask if they're okay, because you never really know what's behind people's laughter. But yeah, me, A, and B continued to play Roblox for a little bit after that. And I kind of distanced myself from, well, I distanced myself from everyone. But if I'm being honest, and you're probably, wondering why I didn't personally do something about it. And I don't like to give excuses, but I did have a good amount on my plate. and I'm pretty sure this happened around the same month, around the same time where I was, how do I how do I say this? Let's just say I was trapped in a room with white walls, but that's a story for another day. Last I heard from A, we still follow each other on Instagram, and we don't talk, but I look at her stories, and I think she has a boyfriend now, and every now and then she posts on her story videos of her partying, traveling around the world. I don't know. It seems like she's having a pretty good time, you know? And I don't know, for me to come back into her life and be like, remember this thing that happened to you years ago? I don't know. I don't personally, I don't find that to be appropriate. You know, like I said multiple times this video already, it really all seemed like no one took him seriously, and that we all just thought it was funny to see how much of a loser this was. You know, it was just so funny to point and laugh at this guy. But I don't know. I feel like I should apologize to someone. But yeah, I'm basically making this video to say I'm sorry. I wish I was more mature back then to take it seriously, because I don't know. I can't really say I've been living with regret, or maybe I have. I won't admit it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened had I done things differently in this situation. But yeah, last I heard of him, everyone from my friend group distanced themselves from him. And, you know, I think he threatened to beat me up the next time he saw me at our high school. And he threatened me through an Instagram note, by the way. I guess silver lining, the normal sane people from my friend group, and well, I don't know how far this information went, but the people who actually saw how weird this lack thereof man was, they dropped him immediately. So I guess this man is all alone now. I don't know. Let's see how many diamonds we got. God, look at that cube of diamonds. That's satisfying to look at. Anyways, let's see how many diamonds. 64 and 4 diamonds. That's not, or I don't know why I said it like that. 68 diamonds. All right, I gotta go do important stuff, and you should probably go do actually, shout out to you if you're working. Someone said I am doing important stuff. I'm currently working and listening to your videos. So thank you for supporting the channel. Get that bread, king or queen. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Bye bye.